Alright, so hello you guys, it's been a while. Right now I'm on my workstation uh, where I use it for 3D printing and CAD stuff, but that doesn't matter right now. It's running Linux, Windows. I know it's something you don't see me do most of the time, but that doesn't matter. The thing that matters is that I am going to be teaching you guys a few things about Linux. So I figured, hey, why not do it? It may be interesting, it may be total disaster. Um, let's have some fun with it, why don't we? So, a lot of people think that you have to completely wipe your OS to run Linux. That's not simply true. One thing you can do is you can run Linux from a VM. VM is an acronym for virtual machine. And I'm basically all behind practical studying, where you can basically put things into practice to see if it works. And yeah, you can pretty much learn like that real fast. So one thing to remember is we're going to use a virtualization piece of software. Now most computers nowadays can run those, so you shouldn't be worried. One of my most favorite ones, and ones that works just fine on almost every platform, is VMware Workstation. And a lot of you might be saying, well, that's not for free, you have to pay for it. That's true. If you get the Workstation Pro version, there is a Workstation player available for download. It's for free. I am running Windows, so I have installed this one, and that's that. The links will be in the description, by the way. And the next one we're going to get is a minimal Ubuntu CD. Now, a lot of you are thinking, why a minimal one? Why don't I just get a bigger one? One of the main advantages of using a minimal install is it can be run pretty much anything. It's so stripped down, it's pretty much just the kernel with a few things, and it's pretty much all you have to do. So one thing, sorry, a bit tired. So one thing we'll be doing is we'll be trying to get the latest one we can get, which is Ubuntu 18.04 Bionic Beaver. So we're going to put this, and it's going to run on a mini ISO, which is like 64 megs in size, and it'll take just a few seconds. And this is pretty much what we'll be using for studying Linux. I'll be showing you a few commands, just a few simple ones. I'm not even sure I'm going to use it just like one series or just show you everything that I know. I'll be trying to do my best to explain pretty much everything. One important thing to note is when you ask something in the community and they tell you to RTFM, that means you have to read the FAQ manual. So what I did is I created a website where you can go and read pretty much everything about a certain command you want to read about. For example, let's find them. Here it is. Then. So if you click them on my website, it will open for you a PDF with the manual page which you can read. One of the main reasons why Linux is actually a really cool operating system is you can actually read a lot about the commands, and you shouldn't be afraid to use those commands. Just read up. That's what I can recommend you. Just read up. You have to study Linux if you want to use it. So just read up and you'll be fine. Once you do that, you'll be pretty much set for anything. So this will be linked in the description as well. Sorry, I'm still a bit tired. So with all the images stuff downloaded, we can put this down for now. So we're going to launch up VMware Workstation Player, which is the tool we'll be using to run our virtualized machine. So as you can see, I have prepared a virtual machine right here, but I'm going to remove it and show you a way you can prepare your own. So what we're going to do is we can remove it entirely from the disk. So once you install VMware Workstation Player, you have to pick non-commercial use only. I'm not getting paid for doing this. I'm doing this from the kindness of my heart to show you what you can do with Linux and why you should learn it. So you click here to create a new virtual machine. Pick your install it later. Linux, pick Ubuntu. Leave it there, and you can even change where you want to save it. I'm just going to let it be, I don't know, Ubuntu dash Linux dash tutorial, let's say, and we're going to keep 20 gigs just in case. We'll keep it as a single file. We'll click finish for now, and once it creates, we'll pick it, and we want to do is click edit virtual machine settings. Once you click that, make sure to set it all the way down to 512 megs, because we're not going to need that much space in terms of memory. And then go into here, the disk image, click take use an ISO image, click browse, and go into your downloads folder and pick the mini.iso, mini.iso it's going to be called. Next go into your CPU and pick at least 2 cores, because we're going to need that. Next click OK and you're pretty much set. The other thing you might want to do is basically launch the virtualized machine. I'm going to, oh no, okay good. I'm going to size this up and run it full screen, remember later. Okay, so the beep you just heard, hopefully you heard it, is this. This is the Ubuntu Minimal. We're going to click install. So we are installing essentially. Just get that out of the way. Yeah, this is pretty much how it will look like for you. So here we are. Here is basically all the keyboard stuff. So we're going to pick English, obviously, to install it. We're going to pick the country, is it that? No, so I'm going to pick mine, which is going to be Europe, and it's Czechia for me. We can keep the local settings just like they are. We do not need to change those for now. You take keyboard layout, yes please. Alright, and so it detected my keyboard layout, so that's nice. We're going to click check, I guess. And it's detecting our hardware and everything, which is really nice. So here's the thing. You won't be needing, you don't need to do this if you want to learn Linux. There are other methods you can learn it. I'm going to show you one that really works for me. The one that works for me is just having it in a VM through the terminal. I'm going to show you how to install a graphical user interface and everything down the line. Today we're just going to focus on installing and doing some basic commands that you will need to remember in order to successfully do all the things we're going to do. So, install your -vm, whoops, -vm, Czechia as our archive, I guess. Just click enter. You don't have to set up a proxy, it's going to work right away. If you do have a proxy, you can add it, but I wouldn't recommend it. If you want to get it as simple as possible, just skip the proxy, because it will show up with some problems later down the line. So yeah, we're installing. It's actually loading up additional components. So the reason why this image is so small is that it basically works as a net installer for your Linux environment. So yes, it is 64 megs in size, but that doesn't mean that it is only 64 megs like after it's been installed. We're going to install, I'm going to show a few things we will do once we log in, which you can automate if you want, but that's not necessary. I like it doing it like manually for me. Also, one thing to remember, you will be mostly using the keyboard now, so That's actually just for the first few steps that we'll be using the keyboard for this, but this is just for the beginning, so don't get scared, it's nothing really that terrifying. Alright, so we're basically waiting for this to install. One of my main reasons why I wanted to do this is there are a ton of people that are not using Linux, and they just, I don't know, it makes me feel a bit angry, but I also feel sad for them, because they have to deal with stuff they don't have to deal with otherwise, which in Linux you can automate. So, yeah. This video is going to be a bit longer than usual. Alright, so right now it's asking us for a username. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a username. Now I'm going to pick one that's easy enough for me to remember. And we're going to add a password that's easy to remember. I don't use this password anywhere else, so you don't even have to try and remember it. Yes, it is correct. So right now we're detecting the hardware. It doesn't take that long, honestly. Right now it's loading other things that it needs. Setting up the partitioner, and this is where most people are scared of installing Linux. Basically what I do is go to guided, use entire disk. This is our virtual drive. Now if you have multiple drives in your system, make sure to ask someone for help. But since this is a virtual machine and we have only one drive in this, I'm fine with that. So we're going to pick this one. It's creating the partitions for us. It lists out changes. You don't need to understand this for now. We're going to go into partitions and stuff later down the line, but it's not important for now. So, where changes to this? Yes, please. And now we are installing. So it's all a question of just waiting till it downloads stuff and installs it. Depending on your device's speed, it might be faster, it might be slower. You just want to make sure that you know what you're doing. And also one important thing to remember, the reason why I picked Ubuntu, specifically the Minimal CD, is you can pretty much run this on anything. I'll be sooner, hopefully soon I'll get a laptop that has really minimal specs from like 2001. I'm going to show you the Linux can run that machine, if I get it, that is. I've been looking around eBay and stuff. I plan on buying a older laptop, which is a normal architecture. I just want to show you that it works with Linux just fine. Just have to find one that is cheap and can be restored with that. One important thing to remember is this is pretty much all you need to do for now. Once we boot into the environment, I'll show you two commands that you'll need to use once you install it. 2 or 3 commands, actually 4, because I'll be using the 4th one quite a lot. By the way, I will be going in order of those commands, so just remember that. So yeah, we're just going to wait for a little while till it installs. I won't be editing this video as much, I just want this to be as raw of an experience as possible. Also, if you have any questions about Linux, you can go down there and down into the comment section and ask me things, or if you really need to, you can go in contact with me either on my Twitter or on my Twitter. I have my DMs open, so don't be afraid to contact me. Um, yeah, I am accessible. Also, I have a GitHub page. Everything is listed on my website, so yeah. It's installing, so just wait till it finishes installing. Some of the parts are going to be quicker, some of the parts are going to be slower. It's just a matter of waiting. The reason why the installation might take a bit longer is it's highly dependent on your internet connection. Linux by itself has, I'm going to also show you how you can list free space from in the terminal. So basically, first we'll be learning how to utilize utilities from within the terminal, and then we will be learning how to do stuff without the GUI, because first we will be learning without the GUI because it's one of the most common environments you may get into. It's actually one of the most used ones, especially on servers, or if you want to teach stuff about Linux. Most of them use the terminal to teach stuff. I originally planned on having a course on either Udemy or Coursera. I'm not really sure which one I'm going to choose, but I plan on making a course, a free course mind you, where I'll be teaching Linux. So it's gonna be fun. I don't plan on doing it now, however, because I'm a bit short on time, school and stuff. And yeah, also other things with life itself, so. Okay, it's installing. As you can see, we're already about 80% there, so. As you can see, it's mostly just waiting around. I get to show you one really useful command if you are worried about your space. I'm really thinking 20 gigs, is that enough? Am I going to be able to do anything? Trust me, you'll be able to do quite a lot. Quite a lot of things with just 20 gigs of storage, if you choose wisely. So we're still installing. It says 3 minutes. This is right now the core that's being downloaded and installed. That's why it's going to take like 3 minutes. And if you have an older laptop, hey, just install Linux on it, give it a shot. I'm going to show you some useful utilities and some useful things I would recommend anyone to use. Also, one important thing to remember, I'll be soon making a Vim tutorial video where I'll be showing you how to maneuver in Vim and do all the fun stuff with it. I do not know a ton of stuff, but the things I know have helped me a lot. So, yeah, we'll be mostly focusing right now on Linux. Bear in mind that this installation, pretty much every Linux distribution comes with Vim installed. Vim is a text editor, a extensible text editor. But in its basic form, it's like perfect. I have yet to have problems with it. Okay, I have to maneuver my mouse a bit. So we can actually go into my website back here while it's installing. Yeah, I'm still recording. Yeah, we are. Like 20 minutes in, that's actually pretty good. So let's find Vim once again. So Vim, there we go. So Vim, this is the text editor that counts with pretty much every Linux distribution ever. Dude, April 2006. It's a VI improved, a programmer's text editor. That doesn't mean you cannot use it. You can definitely use it. Let me just tell you that VMtutor is going to become your best friend. when it comes to running them. So yeah, just remember that. Okay, let's move back up. Let's have a look. We're still installing. But, ow! Ow! I'm sorry. Did not mean to do that, but my... Ow! Why did I do that? Ouch. So yeah. Gosh darn it. One important thing to remember is that Linux is not for everyone. It would be perfect if everyone could learn Linux and use it. Now, let me emphasize this once again. You do not have to learn Linux this way. The reason why I prefer it this way is that if you're bored and want to learn a bit more about Linux, you can just fire up this VM. It doesn't take that many resources to run at all. Actually, how much RAM are we using? Now bear in mind I have Chrome open in the background, so it's not gonna be a good indication. Like almost 3 gigs of RAM, but if I close Chrome I will most likely be able to show you. So in terms of RAM usage, if I close Chrome, VMware is using like what, 30, what the heck, 50 megs along with OBS, it's with 70 to 70, so around 400 megs of RAM along with OBS, so minus 200, yeah, you can run it on pretty much anything. Like, yeah, as I showed you where you can get these, so if I close these, we'll have a lot more resources available to us. So it should go down. If it doesn't matter as much. Yeah, VMware itself doesn't eat that much resources, honestly. It's like 200. Is it around 200? So yeah, VMware itself uses like what, 80 megs? So that's like nothing. Yeah. Okay, we're still installing. Alright, that's good. Alright, it's configuring. It uses a older kernel because it's a older version. Basically what you have to remember is that the kernel is basically the heart of any operating system. It's from where the OS is built, and it defines what the operating system is capable of doing. There are different versions. The version as of now, the latest stable kernel version is 5 point something, which is actually a bit important to learn. Actually, I just realized this right now. There are some really neat resources. I'm not gonna be able to show you that, however, that's a bummer. I don't really want to saturate this more than it needs to be. Well, we're going to let this finish installing. It's at 93%, so it's going to be done soon. So yeah, we're just going to wait for a little while longer, but that's pretty much it. Time though. Isn't that late? Yeah, 10:22. It's not that late. Bear in mind, I'm not recording this late at night. It's like daytime outside, and it is cold, like really freezing, and I don't want to go outside into the cold. So I figured, hey, why not do this for the comfort of my home? If you're wondering why my hair looks so jank, it's because I took a shower before this. So my hair looks a bit of a mess, but yeah, I took a shower. Alright, so we're finishing up the installation section. And alright, it's configuring APT. Let me tell you this, APT is going to help us install applications into our Linux environment, which we won't be installing as many as you might think, but the first video I want to focus on in this series is basically basic maneuvering, directory creation, application installation, and other things. The things that you will need for now, so just remember that. So yeah, we're still installing. Also, if you are installing this on your laptop, make sure to have Ethernet. I think I should have said that before, but I didn't. So I'm saying it now, make sure to have Ethernet plugged in. I'm going to show you how to install a really nice terminal-based utility where you can do things with it. Yeah, so this thing, select and install software. Yeah, it's something we won't be using as much. We're going to skip this, most likely. I'll just look at what is in there, but we won't be installing anything from this. It's just a heads up so you guys know what's going to happen. Again, this is highly dependent on your network speed, so my internet isn't the slowest or the fastest, so just keep that in mind. It's mostly just waiting around for stuff to do its thing. Oh my gosh. This might be the longest video I've ever made. Actually no, I have made a longer one, but it wasn't for my channel. So yeah. The longest part about installing Linux actually is just the installation process. Everything else is just learning, and that does take a fair bit of time too, yes, but it's not something that should take that long. Again, read the effing manual. Once you read that, you're pretty much set. Now, also one thing, I think I have to mention it, a lot of people are afraid of the terminal. Do not. Yeah. Oh, sorry, still tired. Don't be afraid of the terminal. The terminal will be your most powerful tool or weapon in your arsenal. Just remember that. If you learn the terminal and know how to use it, you'll be fine. We're not going to install any updates for now. We're going to skip that. I've skipped the updates for now because it's not necessary. I'm going to show you how to update this later so we do not waste any more time installing, because we can then waste as much time as we want in the environment itself. So yeah. We're still installing. So yeah, I just want to show that you can in fact install Linux on your machine if you do not have a secondary machine or don't want to dual boot. Just install that piece of software, which is VMware, and just use that. Alright, here we go. So in terms of all of this, there are a few things I want to mention. Lab server is for server stuff. I'm just gonna say it as simple as I can. Mail server should be for emails and such, but you're not gonna need it. Print server is for printing. If you have a printer, install that. Do not that. Also, it gives you a few tools to install right away. We're not going to install any of that. Nothing. We're going to skip this. Just press tab and press enter. We're not going to install any software. If we have to install any software, I will tell you why we're doing it. we want to have as much control as possible. I'm going to show you some really handy utilities I like using if there is none that you want to use, but well, utilities that are simple, easy to use, and don't take almost any resources to run. Like heck, back then in the Windows 98 days, launching the task manager would warn you that it may slow down your computer. Like, yeah, that's what happened. It will warn you that there are like limited resources and that it may slow down your computer. The tool you wanna use to look what's slowing down your computer may slow down your computer, which is like funny. I'm not hating on Windows, it's just that I don't like using it. I've been using Linux for about 3 years now and don't regret it a single bit. Well, actually it was like a bit more than 3 years, but it's been like 2 years full time now and I don't regret it at all, a single bit actually. So yeah, we're still installing. Just don't worry, as you can see, I'm just waiting here doing nothing, which is kind of funny in a sense, because I'm just sitting here talking about the things I know. I'll be teaching you most of the stuff I know, just stuff to get you going. Because, like, sure, some of people may argue, well, I can't use Linux because program X isn't available, or program Y isn't available, or program W isn't available. I cannot use that because it won't work with my computer, which is kind of weird, because like you can install Linux on everything. Well, not everything, like you cannot. Can you actually put it on a toaster? I mean, if you can put it into a fridge or a washing machine, you should be able to put it in a toaster, I think. But like, yeah, that's just the reality. If you know Linux, you will be looked after. You'll be the one guy in the room who knows Linux, and people will come to you for suggestions. They will ask you for stuff. They will ask for help. I know this because a ton of people in my class are asking me stuff about Linux. And that's actually something important to remember. I originally planned on teaching Linux at our school once I graduate, which will be funny because I'll be able to do the stuff that I like doing and have fun with other people and the teachers there. But that's like, it's a plan. It's not like I really plan on doing that, but it would be funny. Okay, seems like we finished up hopefully. Hope it's all. So yeah, what we've done so far is we've installed our installation, we've set up our user, and we've set up the internet connectivity, and it's configured for us the, what is it called, the installation of packages. Oh yeah, this thing. This one is quite important. It's installing the bootloader. Basically what a bootloader is, it's a small piece of code that lets the computer know like, hey, I want to boot this. And it executes a set of commands that will boot the operating system for you, so you do not have to type in anything. Install to the master boot record. Yes, please. Yeah, just click yes, don't worry about it, just click yes and let it do its thing. Alright, it's finishing it up, and just please set up the clock, continue, and we're done. It's requesting a reboot. I think we're going to boot right away into our environment. Alright, we're booting. So yeah, and we're in. So this is our environment right now. So now we're going to type in our credentials. The credentials are based off the things that we've set up before, and that's it. So we're in. So we can look up what kernel version we're running. We're running 4.15. So yeah. So on to the basics then. Actually, you know what, I'm going to end it right here. I'm going to show you the basic. Well, actually, let me show you just two commands we're going to use. So one we're going to use is Pseudo, which is a part of another command. Pseudo gives us administrative privileges. Apt is for installing applications, and then we're going to type an update, which is going to update the list of applications available in our repository. What is a repository? It's basically a pool of software we can get our software from, and we want to update the location so that the computer knows where to look for each piece of software we're going to use. Once we've done that, we can start installing. Let's say you want to install Vim, for example. Sudo apt, it's pretty much the same, but it's an update. We're going to click install Vim, for example. I don't think it's going to install. Okay, this is actually a good example. Most distributions come with VI, but we're going to use Vim. So as you can see, we have, I typed in sudo apt install Vim. So basically, the syntax goes as follows: sudo apt install and then the name of the package. You can list the name of packages available, or you can find those on the internet if you really need to. If you need to install a specific piece of software, just Google it. Just Google Ubuntu install the name of the software you need. LibreOffice, open broadcasting software, other things like that. Just look it up. Right now is waiting for an input. So either Y for yes or N for no. So we're going to pick Y for yes because we need Vim and stuff. It's a text editor that we're going to use, and it's installing. The things you see, the get 1, 2, 3, it's getting the packages from the repository. It's actually, yeah, it's going to get it from all the repositories, the packages. So that's what I mentioned before, that's why we've updated our repositories. And it's installing right now. So yeah, it's installed. One really cool thing within Linux, once you install a piece of software, I recommend you open up the man page. You can open it up just by typing man and the command you want to learn about. For example, Vim in my case. I'm using, you can use the arrow keys to maneuver, but I'm using J and K. J goes down, K goes up, easy. And you can read up, but that's pretty much, man is going to be your best friend. So just remember that. Also, if you want to clear out any sort of the mess you have, just type in clear and it's going to give us a clean environment. So that's it for now. In the next video I'm going to show you how you can maneuver, like create directories, maneuver directories, and list out files in directories, and how to create files from the terminal environment and how to edit them. So yeah, I'll be seeing you guys then, I suppose. So yeah, see you around.